Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel.
We are talking about how we acquired our home without looking at it.
How do you even survive travelling for 4 years when it's being forced on you?
We also bribed her with wine.
These are like our 9th, 10th choices based on what we'd actually seen. Okay, well we've signed, so we're in now.
Okay.
Is it on?
I hope so. We'll do a check.
There we go.
Do they go on?
All in order.
What if it reads your heartbeat?
What's it gonna do? Read it out to the people.
Like if you're out here talking and then it's like, go, 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 go.
Or is that reading my heartbeat?
Yes.
It just starts announcing 68 beats per minute.
Oh, it's because I'm getting close to you.
Ooh.
Hey beautiful people.
Hello beautiful people.
Welcome back to the channel. We are talking about how we acquired our home without looking at it.
Oh, right, okay. Okay, so that would be interesting.
Yeah, dude. Let me set the scene.
Okay.
So we're in the UK. If you're new around here, I'm Dimps and this is Seth. And we've been together for 9 years now. Give or take, because of long distance and breaking up for a little bit in the middle of there and then getting married and then a little bit more of long distance. And after getting married in 2019, we then had to, well, we managed to stay together for a year and a half-ish.
Yeah, during COVID.
And then it hit the fan when Home Affairs had its struggles during COVID, and we then travelled between the UK and South Africa every chunk of months. So maybe every 3 or 4 months, like average. Sometimes 6 months, and sometimes 3 months. We didn't have a place to call home, which was rough.
Yeah.
It was so rough.
4 years of that, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then we were in the UK and we'd managed to find some temporary place to stay through some friends of ours.
Yes.
And we knew the time was coming to an end as we were waiting for my South African visa.
Yeah.
And we were looking at different houses here in Pretoria.
So that was stressful because we, oh my gosh. Whew, that whole thing was stressful. So we went to the UK, it was last year December, so that was December 2023. I was mid-December and we had planned to be there between mid-December until mid-April. So it was just before the month before my birthday. And between that time, the plan was to apply for the visa. So while we were in South Africa, before mid-December, we gathered all of Seth's documentation, all the things that needed to be done from this side of the planet. Did police clearances, blah blah. Went over to the UK, and so if you watched our previous vlogs, in that time we essentially had a 3-month cut-off time, I guess you could say, because documentation needs to be the most 3 months old. So I was like, okay, cool, let's sort everything out just before we leave, and then just as we arrive we need to gather the rest of the things. Then we did those things I wouldn't say as soon as we arrived, because it was still Christmas and just a hectic time, just familiarly, in the best way, thankfully, and also work and blah blah blah. Got those things together, applied for the visa. That was crap and hectic and really sad. If you haven't watched that vlog, it is this one over here. And then it was 6 weeks of low-key torture, but we made it through. And in those 6 weeks, we came to the conclusion that regardless, we'll be coming to South Africa, isn't it?
Yeah, because then if I didn't get the visa, we would have just come here anyway, and I would have applied again from here. Yeah. And then keep the receipt and be able to stay in South Africa without a visa, but I'll be able to stay because I've got the receipt for the visa application. Yes. So okay, let's just look at houses anyway. So that's what we started doing. We basically asked Dimple's sister to... Yeah, she's the best. To basically view on our behalf. So yeah, she did that, and
we also bribed her with wine.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to pay.
Yeah. So every time she didn't even ask for it.
Yeah,
she would have done it regardless.
Yeah.
But we were just thinking flipping it. That is just you are going out of your way. We appreciate you. We know that you love wine. So every time you view a house for us, here's a bottle. Enjoy it. Live your best. We'll call you again probably next week to view another one.
Yeah, so it was like that, and we kind of just were searching day and night a South African website for property, and was just looking over and over and over and over and over. Yeah. And eventually you kind of you find some, and then you inquire about them, and then the agents go, oh no, that's not available anymore. They just leave them on there for forever.
They're safe.
Yeah.
I think there are 1 or 2 that are still up on there.
Yeah.
That when I inquired 2-3 months ago, they said it's not available. But have a look at this other one. And I'm like, is it your marketing
What's
tactic?
going on?
To like get people to inquire just to refer them to the ones that are actually available.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm looking for, and is like out of my budget.
Yeah.
Because
I'm with you.
Oh,
it really is crazy.
so frustrating.
I think the majority of ones that we wanted to view were not available anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because then we kind of got down to the ones that we did end up inquiring about, and it's like, oh, these are like our 9th, 10th choices based on what we'd actually seen.
Yes.
But then obviously you just have to go with what's realistic within the time frame. So it was obviously coming up knowing that at some point soon I was going to get a response about my visa, but we didn't know exactly when. Just like we didn't know when to apply for. But Dimple was going to need to leave, so it was like, okay, if Dimple needs to go without me, then she'll go and move in, and then I'll just join whenever.
Yeah. Even that was a whole conversation of I guess there was a bunch of back and forth on different spaces. So that being one of them, in terms of, do I come back knowing that we've got a lease done and sorted and I move in by myself? Do I invite a friend to live with me and split rent for
a few months?
Who knows how long?
Yeah.
Or do I live at my parents' house until Seth comes back? It just, when you have to explore a million different scenarios because you don't actually know what the outcome will be and what it will look like. And then now you're trying to speak with agents and it's like, yeah, like we can and we can't and my sister's gonna come view and I don't know, if it felt like there were so many things that felt like disqualified us, or I don't know, to me, like, because I had the South African number, I was primarily the person messaging them and trying to get information out of them. And so in so many spaces I felt like, oh my gosh, these people are going to be like, these are some con artists. Like, we're not in the country, my sister's coming to view, we don't really know if or when we're coming back, and we don't know if we can send out the application because we don't know if, oh my gosh.
And then we're self-employed as well, so
oh my gosh.
Providing details is just, and I'm earning in the UK, so it's like, how does that work? It was But all of that, to be fair, was more in our heads. It never actually came to fruition that they were problems, because when it came around, things did move quite quickly. There was one property that we absolutely loved.
We loved it.
It would have been like, I think the way I explained it was more than what we needed.
Yeah.
For a good price.
Such a good
In
price.
every way, it was more than what we needed. It had like an upstairs lounge. So the downstairs lounge, which was nice and big, nice kitchen, huge garden, massive garage with high ceilings, which would have been perfect for my work.
Yes.
And it looked like it was a nice, safe complex that was going to be like decent distance between you and your neighbours.
Yeah, really quiet.
Yeah.
So my sister viewed it for us.
Yeah, big upstairs room with like an ensuite, loads of space,
Oh,
with the lounge
really
right
nice.
outside of it.
Yeah.
An upstairs lounge, which was
So
super
our
cool.
room would have been really private, which is something we really craved after like 3-4 years of living with family and
friends,
just sharing like living space. It was just like, oh man, to have like not only the privacy of having our own home, but also the privacy of our room is like far away.
The agent wasn't great, wasn't very quick at responding. It was just like a bit of a faff. And then we couldn't commit to it straight away because I think we travelled, so we were away and we were super busy, and at that point I still didn't have a visa, so we couldn't put my documentation because you have to sign it and tick a thing saying if someone's a foreigner that they've got permission to reside in the country. If they're going to be on the contract as a person who's staying there. So it's like we couldn't, so we kept on holding out. It was
also Easter weekend, I remember. So we actually used Easter weekend as like a little crutch to like buy us some time kind of thing. Yeah,
and so then we came back and we did it, sent everything through, and we're like, sweet, wait a few days, and then it was like, oh, the tenant's already put someone in. So the landlord has already put a tenant in.
Yeah.
And it was like wound.
I was so hard
because we'd both like imagined every room, how we were gonna do it. I had my budget for my gym. Yeah, how life was gonna, how our niece was just gonna run around, have loads of space.
Yep.
Like it was just such a good property.
Yeah. As far as I remember, what Gemi said is that it had like maybe 10, if not less, properties in the complex. It was on a mountain/hill, So it was very secluded, really quiet. Just the list went on. It honestly was like perfect in every way.
Yeah, it was. And then, so that didn't come through. So it was like, okay, let's look elsewhere. Then where we stay now came up.
Yes.
And it was in an estate that we knew was a good estate, like a country estate. Tennis court, swimming pool, space for walking around and cycling within the country estate.
Yeah.
Which is like a huge thing
really
for
good
us.
Amenities.
Yeah, because we love going for walks, and often in South Africa you can't. It's not safe to do that. The best thing that we kind of realised, well, apart from the security and the location of it, was also the garage was perfect for my work.
Yes.
And that was always going to be a huge number one thing for us on a property, because obviously if I can't work then we can't live. So I needed the gym space so I can build a gym, but so I can do all that online work. And yeah, Kemi came out to see it, which is Dimple's sister. She viewed another property as well. The other property honestly was way nicer.
I forgot about that one.
That was way nicer as a house.
As a house, yes.
Way nicer.
Yeah. I think it had a lot more room.
Yes.
And
they had loads going on. It was a really great house. Also had a tiny garden.
Yes.
And the garage just wasn't usable for my work. And then this place, it looked fine. It was okay. Everything was fine. The garden was small, but the insides of the house were fine. They weren't. That other house was always just off the charts for us. That was great. The one that we applied for that we didn't get. And that's all good. But then this one was a good price. It was in an estate that we knew was going to cool. The house might not be exactly as great as the other one, but we're going to get all of this where we can host parties and we can host friends. People come and travel over, build community. So there's just loads of cool things happening. There's kids playgrounds, there's an obstacle course.
We're a little bit, if this is what's central, we're here. Yeah. And it's great. It doesn't mean we're out of the way of anything. If we want to go to where is central, we can easily go there. Still adjusting to that. The other day, I went to do my hair and I completely forgot the distance between here and here. And I was like, oh my gosh. It's it added an extra 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. But that's okay. That's
No, you've lived the life living where you did before.
Yeah. My parents' house, everything is walking distance. It's top tier.
Good.
What was I saying? Yeah, so it's been really good.
Yeah.
And it's got all the things. Yeah, I would say personally, I probably have 2 or 3 things that I'm oh, that's not the best, but it's 100% things that we can live with. I'd say the main one is having a smaller garden. So one of our main things was being able to host people. So it's
love hosting.
Yes, brides and things, bringing people together, creating spaces for people to build friendships and connect with one another. That's a major thing for us that we love so much. And our friends have always also said they really enjoy our brides and things. So great. Let's connect the people. Yeah, and I think also not having done it in the past 3-4 years, it was just that's really a space I wanting to tap into and know that it's a gift of our marriage and our unity is being able to bring people together. So to be fair, we haven't hosted that many people so far. So
we've been really ill and catching up on work.
Yeah.
So yeah. No.
And moving, because realistically it's been 2 months?
It's forever to move in. Yeah, we had loads of stuff to do.
Yeah.
And we've still got loads of things to do in the house.
Yeah.
There's loads to do. Then another thing with the house, what's quite funny is it's all crammed together. Our wall is the same wall that matches with our neighbours. So it's so we share a wall. So sometimes when they're doing stuff in their house, I think someone's inside our house.
That was an adjustment.
So super weird.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's one of those of balancing it out and going, hey, let's just be realistic. It's all well and good to hope for these dreamy ideas in life, but the reality is we've had 4 years of living literally everywhere and anywhere.
Yeah.
We're super blessed to have what we have. The lease is for a year. Let's enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's still a huge step forwards.
And it's one of the biggest houses we've stayed in terms of our own space.
Yeah. And so it's actually just hold on, this is actually great.
Yeah.
It's gonna set us on a foundation, give us a foundation to work from in this year ahead. That is going to be super valuable for building us for our next step. So it's kind of okay, you don't need to be flipping out. You don't even move into a 5-bedroom mansion after being traveling for 4 years. How do you even survive traveling for 4 years when it's being forced on you without visas? How do you even survive that? The fact we survived that, we need to be thankful.
Yeah.
It's then amazing that we've survived it, and now we've got a house which is in an amazing estate, which is still a great house, which when I look back at loads of friends of ours, when they first got married, the houses they had to live in, they would have been over the moon with this house. So it's like, okay,
for sure.
actually
Even
just
our
be
first
grateful.
house. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, there's definitely a lot to be grateful for. God has definitely seen us through all the different bits and has provided for us more than we, could have dreamed of, I feel like. So yeah, I think excited to move from, or to like start here, if that makes sense, because it feels like we've started from scratch again.
Yeah, because I guess it was like a pause on our newly married life. Like most people by now are 5 years into marriage, having stayed in the same place, been able to build things, whereas we got married a few months later, got hit by COVID, which was a life changer for everybody and for us, and then it stayed around for another 4.5 years. Until now. So it's like, okay, we're actually staying to get like normal, living like normal people. We are in, I think it's month 6 since marriage.
I'd say that's accurate.
Yeah, because we moved in together in the August. COVID came around January, Feb.
That's crazy.
So we're 6 months into normal people life of newly married living. But we've actually been married for 5 years, so it's kind of like, it was a long pause, but it's kind of exciting now to get that excitement again about like, okay, cool, let's do the things.
It's also good to have, I don't know, the mental maturity to approach things in terms of work and in terms of, we're 5 years in, we know each other so well. Like, we're not starting from scratch in terms of our relationship, in terms of our family relationships, in terms of, I don't know, dealing with finances together. Like, there's so many things that I feel like we've got a wealth of experience and certainty in each other, certainty in God and His provision, all the things. It's just like, I guess we have our own unique advantages and have gone through like the depths. Like, there's stuff that I'm like thinking about and thinking through in terms of work now that I don't think I would have had the maturity to think through the way that I can now that I would have then if I was in that space previously. And being able to look back on 5 years of like figuring out entrepreneurship and working with others and like what works best and what doesn't, and where my strengths are and where my weaknesses are, and all these different things. It's like flipping heck, because of the survival mode we've been on for the past 5 years, able to make just like more solid decisions and even consider like who I am, how I'm built, what I need to be better at, what again my weaknesses are and how I can be better at certain things. It's just like, okay, I have a better perspective on so many things that I can move forwards better and approach things better. Still learning, still a kid, but God's grace is enough, so we're okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
so there we are.
So there we are. We signed a lease before seeing our house.
Yeah, we literally, I guess we didn't even get around to explain it. Dimple's sister came and viewed it for us. And it's like, cool. And we thought, okay, let's go for it. It looks good enough on the photos. And the first time we saw it, we'd already signed the lease and everything like that. And we're in the country, and then there was a power outage, so we couldn't go in the garage. And it was dark, and it was like, okay, well, we've signed, so we're in now.
That's gonna have to work.
And the first time we actually saw the whole property properly, with the garage and everything, with lights on, was the day we were moving in.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah, so.
Fully. Because I remember when we spoke to the agent, we were on our way to our friends Daniel and Charlotte's house. Yeah. And we were kind of like stressed because it was like, should we commit? How far should we commit? Like, don't really know. But the agent was so nice. She was so kind. I remember complimenting her and being like, this is the easiest conversation I've had with an agent, and she was just like, that's how it should be. If I'm your agent, it should be easy. It should be, I don't know, we should be moving forwards like with all the information known, everything's on the table, like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, that is so comforting, because the amount of agents I've spoken to till this point,
terrible.
Half of them haven't even gone back to me. Half of them don't know what's what, and it's like, oh my gosh.
And she also like made it really easy to like show us what the house was actually properly like. Because also I think when you're viewing houses, you need to remember like a lot of the property places use like wide angle cameras. So it makes it look bigger than it actually is. But she was just super communicative and helpful. So we could actually get a really good feel of what things were like, even though we never got to see it before we signed the lease. But it's gone well. It's been great so far.
And also one of the really great things is that we actually have a good amount of freedom in terms of personalizing the home. Like making it personal to us, because unfortunately they didn't have good tenants before us, and so we actually walked in with a lot of advantage of like, we can paint. And also the good thing with that is that we're not crazy, we're not trying to paint the walls green or pink. Like, we're still going neutral.
Yeah.
So it just works. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
all a win. So yeah, now we're in our home and it's been so much fun. And I've started my moving series.
Yes, you have.
Yes, and my internet friends are enjoying it.
Great.
Yeah, they're so sweet. I've got the best subscribers. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, you do.
They're
They're really
so
sweet.
Yeah. They show up for me.
Yeah. Congrats, babe. Well done. Thank you very much.
We're high-fiving. We normally shake hands.
Cheers.
Just once.
There we go.
Thank you, friends. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That always helps my channel.
And subscribe if you haven't subscribed already.
Yes.
That one.
That's probably more important for right now in this context. See you in the next one. If you don't see in the comments, see you in the next one.
Thanks.
It's ready to go.
Little weasel. Now we can see if it worked.
Okay.